another episode of how I built my e-commerce career. If you've been hiding under a rock, hopefully you may have seen an episode or two, but this series really does dive into some amazing e-commerce leaders and how they built their career within e-commerce. My name is Dimity Edwards and I am the account manager at Hunt & Co that specializes in digital marketing and e-commerce. For those that haven't heard of us before, we are a boutique recruitment agency in Brisbane, and I get the absolute pleasure of working with some amazing e-commerce businesses across the whole of Australia. And in turn, I get to speak to amazing humans just like Abbey here we've got on the call today. As you know, getting into the e-commerce industry is often a little bit different for everyone. You sometimes just end up in your role and you're like, how did I end up here? And Abbey is probably one of those perfect examples of, I don't know how I ended up here, but I'm so glad I did. She has built one impressive career over the past 3 years, starting as a stock warehouse worker or a casual warehouse worker at Pedal and Pub, and has quickly moved herself into an e-commerce manager for Louenhide. So Abbey, over to you. How did you build your e-commerce career?
Hi. Wow, that was a very positive wrap. So thank you for that. It was a bit of a fluke, if I'm being honest, but I feel like don't let that deter you, because I feel like it's kind of inspiring to know you don't have to have this long list of requirements to enter the industry. But like you said, I was in stock at a fashion warehouse, and then I became like the stock leader, and then I applied for a job in the offices of the same business. So that was e-com product merchandiser. And I feel like there's a lot of junior roles in e-com like that one I had, and they're the perfect place to start because a lot of the role could just be like data entry or making reports or moving around things on the website. So I feel like that's the beauty of e-com and how I got to where I am. There's so many little stepping stones that you can start on, and it doesn't have to be like a rigid thing like a 4-year university degree and then you get a graduate job. E-com's not really like that, I would say. So I hope that comforts a few people that are trying to get into the industry.
No, I love that. And I guess break it down for us, because an e-commerce specialist, an e-commerce manager, or an online website manager can really look different in every single business. What does your day-to-day actually look like?
Well, hard to answer. The beauty of it is it's never the same every day. And you can, I know I have the flexibility of running my own day. So I'd say probably 4 or 5 hours of my day is content management. So making sure the website looks as good as it can and prepping for future drops and releases. So whether that means writing all the product descriptions or importing all the data into our website, the back end, or prepping a launch that's not even going to be on the website for 3 months, but you have to do these things so far in advance. And then I'd say I probably have about an hour of reporting every day, but I'm a nerd. Like I love data. So even if I could do that all day and put my headphones in, like that's bliss. So I love the data analytics side of my job. And then I'd say I probably have 2 hours of strategy. So just making sure I'm aligned with the business and I'm ticking off all the things I need to do so that I'm going to meet all my deadlines and meet all my KPIs. But it does change every day. Like some days I'll find myself in the warehouse trying to find a bag that we got sent a sample. Like it's never the same. So that's the beauty of it. But like you said, it does change everywhere you go. But that's a good thing. I think it's good to not just be doing the same thing for 8 hours every day.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I love that you have some samples in the background of the product, a little hint. For those that don't know what Louenhide is, did you want to give a little breakdown of the business?
Sure. So we're a small business that designs accessories. So that ranges from handbags to crossbody bags to travel bags. We also sell hair clips and belts and hats. So everything you'll ever need accessory wise, but it's a small business. We are in Stafford in Brisbane, and the founders, Lou and Heidi, have been doing this for, I think it's coming up to 15 years or something this year. So It's really inspiring working with boss women, and a lot of I think we have a team of about 10 here, and it's like 90% women. So
we love a female founded brand.
Yes, yes, exactly. It is it's inspiring, and both the directors are still super hands-on, so they'll be here every day, it's so nice to see just the vision that they've brought to life, and still all of the brand values that they started 15 years ago that we still live by. But yeah, Louenhide is the best. So jump on our website.
Little promo. We love a good promo. Here's our discount code. No, I'm just
kidding. Don't look at the model images because they make the employees model. So
you will see Abbey on the website, FYI. But I guess on kind of winding it back to a little bit of your day-to-day, is there any skill sets that you would say if someone wants to become an e-commerce specialist or an e-commerce manager, what would be some of those like tangible skills that they could take with them or learn, and so that when they were given the opportunity to jump into a role like you have, they could really step up to the plate?
Yeah, for sure. I think something a lot of people don't think about outside of the e-commerce industry trying to get in is you have to be proficient with Excel. A lot of reporting and a lot of data imports are through Excel or through Google Sheets. So again, don't let that scare you though, because it's so easy to learn. But I think having a good Microsoft Word Excel base is a good way to start. But I honestly think the most important thing is familiarizing yourself with the framework. So whether it's Shopify or Magento or WooCom, these things come with experience. So some things you can't learn before you're in your role. In saying that, if you bring the right work ethic and the right attitude to just continue to learn, it's so easy to pick up because it is really just muscle memory. Like it is just, if I click this button, this will pop up here. So I think obviously if you've studied business or marketing, definitely marketing, if you're trying to get into marketing, those tools and education will be handy. But if you're going into more of a junior level role, I think if you can just communicate and prove that you can work hard, that's really all you need to get started.
Yeah. And I know we've spoken on a few episodes now around like just giving things a go and like go ask your auntie who wants to sell candles to help her build a website, or go to your uncle who has a plumbing business and ask him to do some email automations and actually understand that buyer's journey. Would you give the same advice?
Yeah, I would. And I also, going off your point, I would say if you're looking to get into the industry and you can't find a role, literally email or Instagram message the team and be like, hi, this is me. I'd love to be involved in the business if there's any opportunities, because just putting your name out there and putting your face out there is so memorable to a business, and they might not even be at the point where they've decided to put an ad out to hire someone, but they could be like, oh my God, someone loves our business and wants to be involved. Like, I think don't be shy. And I know that's so much easier said than done, but there's no negative of trying. Like, you're just gonna, if it doesn't work out, it's just gonna be, no, sorry, I'm not looking for anyone. They'll remember your name probably, because I'm sure that doesn't happen that often. And then you're just exactly where you started, so you're not losing anything. So yeah, I think definitely put yourself out there as much as you can if you're really passionate about getting in.
Or contact a really awesome recruiter. And,
exactly.
might be able to open a few doors for you. But like, I really do encourage people, like often a lot of our businesses don't know what they don't need, or they have a little bit of an idea around what the person looks like or the role that they're trying to hire. But my job as a recruitment consultant is actually to help them find alignment with a really awesome candidate. And that doesn't always look like what they have on a job description or a piece of paper at the beginning. I know the story is very similar for you. So I would definitely put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to put your hand up and be like, I'm not sure how to do this. Can I have a conversation? Or these are my foundational skills, but I would love to go here, and like really showcase where you think your career path would like to be headed. Because a lot of the times when people are hiring, they're able to help you join the dots, and maybe you're starting a little bit sidesteppy, but then you'll be able to progress quite quickly in your career.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think especially if you're trying to get a new challenge, it's so handy having a recruiter like yourself. Like when I was in my position, moving. But yeah, it's so handy, and it also takes out a lot of the work for us.
Yeah.
Working hard. Yeah.
No, I love that. And I guess looking around at your team, is there any critical roles that you would say, I guess an e-commerce manager is often just like one person within a business, but I guess what kind of roles are there around that really support the whole operational side of the business really humming along really well?
Yeah. So I think it's really important to have like a successful bond between the like merchandising team, the e-com team, and the marketing team, because although like I wouldn't say I'm like naturally creative, and like marketing isn't really where it's at for me, but like a lot of my role just intertwines seamlessly with the marketing team, whether that is like the merchandise strategy or having enough inventory to put into ads, stuff like that. So I think try not to let yourself just fall into a box of like, this is my role, I only do things in my role. Like, be able to understand that the things you do are going to affect everyone. So you need to be reflective and respectful of how your work may not only serve your KPIs, but could like damage someone else's if you're not aligned with your strategies. So I think there's always a lot of moving parts. There's always a marketing team normally, a lot of people that isn't just like social media. And I feel like even I was like, marketing is social media
on Instagram.
and ads. But it's actually so much more work than that. And I think especially in a business like ours where we have wholesale as well, so we are business to business and business to consumer, there's a lot of moving parts. So yeah, I think a successful business is just being able to communicate with every single team and just know that what you're doing doesn't just affect you. Yeah.
I love that because it's so true. I call it like the butterfly effect. And we often speak about it here is like something might happen over in America. And then obviously the butterfly effect will come and interrupt our day-to-day as even recruiters. So I would say, yeah, be conscious of that butterfly effect. You think the one task you're doing might seem insignificant, but it plays a huge part in the overall execution of these massive, incredible businesses. I guess leaning into a little bit of the future and using your magic ball, is there any roles or trends that you see coming up for the e-commerce industry? And yeah, I guess sharing your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think as the e-com industry is becoming more saturated, I feel like loyalty is going to become a huge thing. And
loyalty with customers?
Loyalty with customers, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the focus from probably when I started 2-3 years ago to now has been, how can we get more new customers? We need new customers. But I feel like it's shifting into, how do we keep these customers coming back?
Yeah.
And whether that is a form of, if you're a bigger business, having a very proficient loyalty program on your website, or offering perks to members, or anything like that, whatever form the loyalty takes. I think moving into how saturated the market is, you need to almost be like thankful and compassionate for your customers that do come back, and show that through, even if it's like your language in your emails, or you send a 10% code and like, thank you so much for coming back to us. And I think that's something I've learned moving from a bigger business to a smaller business, is the personal touches really make a huge difference. And like, we've had people, because we have phones here in the office, and I answer the phone sometimes when no one's in the room. And there'll be people that are like, I have 17 of your bags. Like, I've shopped with you for 10 years and I just love all your stuff. And it's just, I know it's a whole new experience to have people who just love the brand. And I guess that would help that Louenhide are like the face of the brand. They're also the directors. So they do all the work, and then they obviously have like a personality for the brand. And I think that has created like a huge customer loyalty base, because people fall in love with people and not so much the products, and then that's just a byproduct. So I think in saying all that, loyalty is going to be the biggest thing, but also just relearning everything you think you know every year, because no one really knows what's going to happen. So just like try not to become complacent and just like keep learning the trends and stuff like that. But,
yeah, I love it. And I guess with those, we've spoken about personalization quite a lot on these episodes, to be honest. And it's obviously a really big part of the e-commerce experience and taking that customer on that strategic journey. What are your thoughts and feelings on a new role that might pop up in the future that currently doesn't exist within your team or within the industry right now?
Yeah, okay. That's a hard one. I think there will always be like little roles that are a building block to a bigger role. Like, for example, I'm the e-com manager here, but I don't really have anyone under me, and above me is like my directors. So I think little roles like that will start to chip in, especially as businesses get bigger. Like even when I used to work at my old business, we had a team of about 8 in the merchandising team, and now they've expanded to 16 in Australia. So it's like there'll always be new assistant roles, there'll always be different strategy roles, data entry roles. So I think as a business grows, there's always going to be room for a more junior person and a more senior. But as far as like a completely new role to be created, I cannot think of anything off the top of my head.
You'll come back to me in a couple of days being like, I got it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll send you something and be like, this.
Insert here. No, I love that. And I guess on that kind of final kind of questions, but is looking back on your career, you are just getting started, which I'm so excited to kind of watch your evolution of where you go in the next kind of 5 years. So I can see you going amazing places. So all those e-commerce businesses out there, remember Abbey. But looking back and like, if you could tell your younger self, what would you tell her?
I would say like just to enjoy it, because I think when I was younger, I was like an athlete, and I think a lot of my mindset was like, okay, what's the next best thing? What can we try and aim for? Like it was always looking for what was next and how to be bigger and how to be better. But I think I'm at a point now where I'm just like, don't compare yourself to anyone else in the industry or anyone else in a different industry of your age. Like if you like your job and you're passionate about it, that's all you really need. Like don't try and look for the biggest role title or the biggest salary. Like obviously those things are great things to have, but I think the most important thing, and I wish I knew this when I started in the industry, is if you're happy and you're passionate and you feel supported, then that's amazing. Like that's all you can really ask for. And I think especially in my generation, it's a trend to be always looking for what's next and trying to be better, which isn't a negative. Like obviously we always want to continuously improve, but I think you have to also relish when you have met that next step and just enjoy it.
Enjoy riding the wave, because I do believe that a lot of goodness comes from actual loyalty and being an employee as well. So riding that wave, like you have said, you've actually scaled quite quickly in all of your roles, just naturally, probably from your sporting mindset, giving it all you got, which I absolutely love. I guess before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to share, or any wisdom that you've really thought about that you'd love to pass on to anyone listening?
I would just say trust your intuition, like whether that be I think I need to tell someone about this new trend, or I'm really interested in doing something different but it's not exactly in my role. I think trust your gut and trust your intuition and just try. I think that's a really important thing. Also be resilient to feedback. I think, especially if you're in the industry like e-com, or if you're working where some of your work that you're producing is like from your soul, like creative stuff, something you've come up with and you're passionate about, it's not always going to align. It's not always going to be on point, and that's okay. And I think it's really important to pick yourself up in those times, and that's where it'll show like your employer or your co-workers like what you're made of. And just always try to have a problem solving mindset instead of a like woe is me mindset. I think that's something to remember, especially in this industry.
Yeah, be coachable. I love that.
Yes.
Be coachable and have resilience. Oh, you're such a treat. I could listen to you all day. Is there any insight to any exciting things that are upcoming for Louenhide that you could kind of share?
Yeah. We're about to launch our biggest launch we've ever launched for spring summer. So that will be dropping in August. So keep your eyes out. There's a lot of color. This is just a sneak peek, but there is a lot of color. I think it's something crazy like 70 different styles. So
wow.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. And then I think we're going to be continuously dropping new stuff until about November. So a lot of work for me. And
I was going to say that's a lot of work on your behalf, but no wonder you're like busy.
Yes. Yeah. Busy.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on How I Built My E-commerce Career. It's been an absolute pleasure. And like I said at the start, I think you're on such a really amazing career path, and you've created so much in your short career. And I can't wait to see what you do in the future. So thanks again, Abbey.
Thanks, Dim.
No worries. Bye.